Hello, welcome to another conversation in George's Corner. I'm your host, George. Hope all of you are having a great day, whatever you're doing, evening, night, morning, however this catches you. As promised, I decided that this time I was going to make this conversation about the men. Women, you're more than welcome to listen. Reason I'm making this about the men today is because there's a lot of chat and a lot of talk about men not being the responsible guys that they used to be. That chivalry was dead, or that chivalry is dead. I'm here to tell you it's not dead. As a matter of fact, for you women who are listening, I'd say challenge your man to be the men that they're supposed to be. Again, not making this about the women, making this about the men today. Men, step up, do what you need to do. You know, this whole thing about running around being a player and all that, it's not where it's at. And I'm sure that most of you know that. It's not cool. It's not popular. It's not even a thing anymore. It's about being responsible, especially if you happen to be a father. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because, again, all the conversations that we have on here are conversations that I've had with other people and just form my own opinion about some of the things that are being said. Now, as far as relationships go with father and daughters, realize that you are her very first relationship with a man, however you want to look at it. You know, don't lay that on the mother to teach the daughter how to be a good, dutiful woman to the man. That's your job. You're a man. And if you love your daughter, you step up to the plate. You have conversations with her. As a matter of fact, you'll be honest enough to tell her the type of man that you are or have been so that she'll know what to expect in her future. So hopefully you've been that great guy who has, for lack of better words, lived up to the part. Now, I'm no better than any of the rest of you. I've had my trials, my errors, my situations. And as a father, I'm going to give you a personal story myself. My father, I became a father when I was really young. I was a teenager. And I remember I moved far away to try and establish myself and make a better life for myself and my son. And I didn't marry the mother, obviously, which is part of the conversation. But the one thing that I remember is I had, and I won't go into anything personal, okay? Too personal, rather. I had some issues with not necessarily always stepping up to the plate the way I was supposed to. And a lot of times I'd put the blame outside of myself and I would make excuses and say, well, you know, I would call or I would this if I didn't have to have the obstacles of the other person trying to, I guess for better words, block my part in my child's life. But I never forget the conversation that I had with my father. And he said to me one day, he said, you know, as we're talking, he said, so, how's your child doing? I said, my child is doing fine. And he said, well, I heard hesitation there. You haven't spoken to this child, have you? I said, no, I haven't. The reason being is because of the obstacles that I'm facing. And he said, first of all, let me explain something to you. The child you have did not have a choice or say so or vote in being here. So because they didn't have a choice, it is totally your responsibility to be there for that child. And I started saying, well, what about it? He goes, no. Don't make excuses for, well, I'm not calling because the mother and I don't get along or she's going to argue with me or this or that. He goes, that's all irrelevant and contrary to the point. He says, your focal point is to be there for that child, no matter what. And so the lesson I took from that was, regardless of the personal relationship I have with my child's mother or not, has nothing to do with she or I. It is all about myself being a responsible parent to that child. So for you guys who are listening, you know, I'm not making any judgment calls because I don't want to be judged myself, but I'm just going to tell you from my experience, don't use the fact that you don't get along with the mother to keep a distance between you and that child. There is no excuse. Be the father that you need to be to your children. Step up to the plate. And even when there are hard times and you can't seem to find work or finances are not there, your time is so much more valuable. Talk to your children. Show them the love that they need. Trust me, they'll understand. What they won't understand is excuses. or when you're saying that I can't get a good job, or I'm not making the money I need to be, so I'm just going to disappear. No, you're not a magician. You're not a magician. You're not Houdini. Just live up to your responsibilities. And for you women out who are out there who are holding children over the man's head, don't do that. Because all you're doing is creating an enemy for yourself. Because one day when that child is old enough to talk to the parent, the father that is, and find out why the father was absent, and find out the obstacles that the father faced because you stood in the way, you've just created another whole problem for yourself. Questions that you don't want to answer, but you have the answers to. So always remember, whether it's mother or father, do not pit one parent against the other. Now, far be it from me, if it's an abusive situation, get out of it. And do not subject your children to abuse or ridicule from the other parent. But find some kind of way to have cooperation, consideration, and respect for each other, if for no other reason than for that child. I implore you to all do that. And again, this is only my opinion. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just giving you personal experience of what I've lived through, what I've faced, and hopefully some of you will not learn, as I call it, you learn from life through example, or you learn through experience. And one thing that life has taught me is that sometimes having an example far outweighs the experience, because experience costs. And sometimes you don't always have the money to pay for that. Trust me. Again, didn't want to make this a downer conversation, and I hope that it's not. I hope it's uplifting. I hope that it makes each and every one of you who are listening to me right now run out and call your son, call your daughter, or whatever the case that may be, okay? Again, this is George's Corner, but your input is always, always welcome. Continue to email me at george.jones, little I, at yahoo.com. Again, that's george.jones, little I, at yahoo.com, and let me know if there's topics that you like to talk about or opinions that you have. Love to hear from you. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day. Thanks. Until next time. Bye-bye.